Hi, I'm Jason Powell. I grew up in Houston, Texas, and once I was about 4.5, about 5 years old, I was introduced to the world of martial arts. My instructor was from Korea, so it was very traditional, very one-on-one, and the goal was to eventually become a world champion. It was at least 4 hours a day, usually 2 or 3 hours before school, 2 or 3 hours after school, combined with my studies, both going through the public school, the private schools, and being homeschooled by my coach. It was tough. Literally from age 5, I was putting in 40, 50 hours a week towards school and this dream of becoming a world championship fighter. The amount of discipline and the amount of structure that was in my life from that really led me through so many aspects of my life. I was fortunate enough to train, again, traditionally in Taekwondo, but I was exposed to Sambo, to jujitsu, to judo, to kung fu, to so many other styles, and also fortunate enough through my coach and mentor to be able to travel the world and study all of these styles was just a great feeling, and it was so inspirational to see the world, and you were able to gain so much knowledge from just observing how that works. As I started to enter the professional ranks, at close to 18 years old in the martial arts, it just felt right. It's one of those things that you wake up every day and you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I was able to win a couple of lower level international tournaments, and it felt great. And once I was about 20 years old in the prep for my first world championships, a spinal condition was discovered at me at a pre-fight physical, which effectively, in a matter of a few minutes, I went from the next step to being world champion to being exiled from the sport, to that being ripped away from me and my career ended. That was a hard hit. I went through several months of depression with that. I went through a lot of struggles and lost a lot of friends and really took myself away from everything that I was at that point in time. Once after a few months, I got to the point of starting into some rehab, started eating a little more, started just lifting a little bit of weights. Again, what would be considered the rehab weights, 20, 30 pounds max. And I started to respond physically to that. So I started to look better, I started to grow some muscle. In that time frame, I also, to kind of escape my reality, went into a delayed enlistment with the United States Air Force. So I was sort of prepping to go into that military mode. I was also prepping to get my body back into the condition it was before my spinal condition was noticed. In the military, I was fortunate enough to connect to a lot of the wellness portion of the military. So we were attached to some great gyms, some great people. As my body was changing, I noticed people started to recognize that. And at small levels, even at that point, I was motivating people and inspiring people to change their own lives and to become better. Shortly after entering the military, I was introduced to the world of actual bodybuilding. Got on stage the first time in November of 1997 in Guam and loved it. So at that point, I had decided that, yes, I wanted to be a bodybuilder, and I wanted to be one of the best natural bodybuilders that the world had ever seen. And there's a lot to overcome to accomplish that. and that, coupled with my spinal condition, we had to kind of modify some things. So things like you see a lot of these guys in there, that the range of motion is limited with me. I live on a scale of 1 to 10. I live in probably about a 6.5 to 7. As far as the level of pain, which is tough to overcome sometimes. But once I started seeing some of the people that I was able to inspire and that I was able to motivate to become better themselves, it helped me. It helped motivate me. It helped me overcome those little pains that I had every day and the little aches and the things of that nature. And when I saw that I was actually able to start changing people's lives, not only by being on stage, but once the online social community started, it was wonderful. That kept me going. That kept me doing what I did. And then not too long ago, I had my first son about 6 years ago, and I was fortunate enough for him to see me develop through the natural ranks of bodybuilding, and just seeing how proud he was and how much he flaunted that, and how proud he was his dad had the muscles and looked like Superman, and all these things was just a dream come true. True strength to me is being able to overcome those obstacles, no matter what they are. Another aspect for me of true strength is I like to see people inspire others. Not being selfish, but being selfless. To give back to the communities, to take what you learned through your struggles and share that with others. Once you are able to, one, overcome your own obstacles, and then help lead people to overcome their own obstacles, then you've accomplished something. Then you can truly be what I see as a true strength, not only with yourself, but into the community. I'm Jason Powell, and I have true strength.